Preloaders, VI preloaders, welcome back to the channel. As always, a pleasure to have you guys here with me. For those of you that have never been to this channel before, maybe you just stumbled upon it, let me fill you in on who I am, what this channel is about, and what the name of this channel is. My name's Robert. I'm a retired NYPD Highway Patrol motorcycle lieutenant. I did a wonderful 22-year career with the NYPD. 15 of those years were spent with the motorcycle unit. The name of my channel is called Robert Simmons Paying It Forward. And I created this channel because I wanted to share my knowledge, experience, and training that I received from the NYPD Highway Patrol motorcycle unit with you guys, with a special focus on slow speed motorcycle operation, because that is one of the most important aspects of riding a motorcycle, because when you ride that slow properly, that's when you're the boss of your motorcycle. You have to be. To be able to control this motorcycle at slow speeds, you have to be the boss of the motorcycle. And that's part two of what I want to help you guys with. I want to help you be the boss of your motorcycle. And all that simply means is I want you to be able to be confident. All right. One of the key aspects of this channel is raising confidence levels. I want you to be confident at slow speeds, making right turns, left turns, and the infamous U-turn. I want you to be confident in that. And I want to emphasize that the goal of this channel is not to make you ride like a motor officer. It's not to have you dragging your floorboards or doing any of that stuff that's extreme. It's simply to be able to have confidence and not think twice about doing simple things on your motorcycle at slow speeds. I don't want your feet coming out, because that's just a sign that you lack confidence in going slow. We all like to go fast, and it's fun to go fast. I want you guys to have just as much fun going slow. I also hold practice sessions on a weekly basis here in Pooler, Georgia. Those practice sessions are free to my VI preloaders. And if you guys would like to come out and practice with us, hit that join button. It's right next to the subscription button. And I've also made it easy for you guys. I put a link in the description section. And while you're in that description section, just check out all of that stuff in there. A lot of stuff to help you out. Practice session information is in there. Cone course dimensions, the name of the exercises we do in the cone courses, as well as information on how to make donations to this channel. So check that out, guys, when you get a chance. All right, guys. So clearly, the elephant in the room is this motorcycle. Why is this motorcycle laying on its side? And that's something I want to talk to you guys about. But first I want to tell you guys a story. So what I want to talk to you guys about, if you haven't heard about them, they're called motorcycle drop guards. Motorcycle drop guards go on your engine guard, on your saddlebag guards, and your primary, on the primary cover, right? And it's meant to further protect the motorcycle, because we already know engine guards are on here to protect your motorcycle just in case it tips over. Saddlebag guards are on the motorcycle for the same reason. They're going to protect the saddlebag. So when the motorcycle is leaned over like this, if it's leaned on the left side, the only thing that's going to be touching the ground are the saddlebag guards and the engine guard. The primary can touch the ground as well. That's why there's a cover for that. When I first got this motorcycle, it did not have saddlebag guards. And I dropped it in the U-turn, and I have a scuff now on my saddlebag. A buddy of mine just dropped my motorcycle today, all right? But now I have the saddlebag guard. Let me tell you about that story. So to me, this story was comical. We're getting ready to take a ride to Harley-Davidson. I said, do me a favor, ride my bike, ride this bike, and I'm going to ride my Street Glide. No problem. He leaves my house. He lives right around the corner from me. He's going to his house to change his shirt. I think I left my house 10 minutes after he left. And when I pulled up to his house, he was just pulling up. So I'm like, what happened? Oh, how are you just getting here? Now I happened to see two kids walking, and one kid was in a wheelchair. They were pushing him. And he goes, you see those kids right there? He said, when I was leaving your block, I stopped. They were walking in the street, and they stopped. And then I started to move. They started to move. I stopped. They stopped. To make a long story longer, he says when they started moving, He stopped, and then the bike started leaning to the right, and he said it got to the point where he couldn't hold it up anymore. So I asked him, did you drop the bike? And he goes, well, no, I didn't drop the bike. So I'm like, well, I don't understand. Were you able to pick the motorcycle back up like this, or did you have to get behind it and pick it up? Did you drop it? He kept saying, no, I didn't drop the motorcycle. So I go around to the right side of the motorcycle, which is over here, and I rub the engine guard and the saddlebag guard, and it's scuffed. Kevin, you dropped the motorcycle. No. So he's confused. He thinks because the motorcycle got to a certain point, the point of no return, and he had to let it go down, that's not considered a drop. So I kindly informed him, yes, that's a drop. You dropped the motorcycle. Unless you put it down purposely, like I did here, it's a drop. Not a big deal. He felt like crap. Man, I'm sorry. You know, I let him off the hook a little bit because I informed him that the majority of the scratch on this engine guard, that's from when I dropped it. And that's why the one on the back, because these are new, you can't even see it. It's like a little scuff. But the one on the front is severe. That's because I was moving. Anyway, the more he kept telling me about what these kids were doing, I kept stopping him in mid-sentence and saying, Kevin, you need to practice more. Yeah, you know, but the kids, Kevin, you need to practice more, because that's all this was about. So it also reminded me of this, guys. So when I worked in the highway patrol, you ever notice that you're stuck in traffic because somebody had an accident, and it doesn't matter how much traffic they're causing, they will not move those cars because they think that we as police officers won't ever be able to figure out what happened. But meanwhile, that's never the case. All I have to do is look at the damage, listen to the stories, and I can clearly define what happened here, right? That was the same case here. Based on what he told me, I knew for a fact, I would have bet my house on it, that he grabbed the front brake. And I said, did you grab the front brake? And then he's like, well, and I told him it's a rhetorical question. I know he grabbed the front brake. He started to make that right turn. The kids started to move. He panicked, went like this. All that weight went to the front. He already has the wheel turned. It starts to go over. He can't catch it. Bam. All right. So trust me, guys, there's a reason why I emphasize practice, practice, practice. Because you're not really practicing for when everything is okay. You're practicing for the oh crap moment. Because when the oh crap moment happens, if you have a lot of practice under your belt, that's what you're going to go to. Instinctively, you're going to go to it because you practice so much. But if you don't practice a lot, you're just going to go to, oh crap, grab the front brake. Because when people panic, that's their answer. Just grab the brakes. When they're in a car, just hit the brakes. When there's other stuff involved, when you practice. So I say all of that to say, guys, practice, practice, practice. Then he asked, well, what could I have done? So the first thing I said to him is, well, I know for a fact that these kids weren't this close to your motorcycle. No, of course not. They were far enough away where if you were already in a turn and you saw them move, all you had to do, rear brake, or if the motorcycle's leaned a little bit and you want to pick it up a little bit, open up the clutch, straighten out the handlebars, rear brake, same time. So now it's not like you're going fast towards them. You're just giving the rear wheel power to stand the motorcycle back up straight so that you can come to a stop if you need to, right? But what I demonstrated to him is you never even had to come to a stop. All you had to do is exercise number 2, and you would have been fine. But if you felt better coming to a stop, that's fine. So you see what I'm saying, guys? We practice to cover all of these things. So yes, he feels like crap because he dropped my motorcycle and he put some scuffs on the engine guard and the saddlebag guard. And my response to him was, I don't want you to feel like crap because of that. That's not a big deal. That's why these things are on here. And I'm going to put motorcycle drop guards on anyway that's going to cover that. What I want you to feel like crap about is you didn't do the right thing because you're not practicing enough. And again, he's a VI preloader. He lives in my neighborhood. He's my friend. He hasn't been to a practice session in weeks. He's been doing other stuff. So, I mean, I know a lot of you guys would love to be this close to me to come out and practice. He's right here. So he did the 10 push-ups. And you know what? Let's take a look at his 10 push-ups right here. Just 10, man. There's no rollover push-ups, just so you know.
No.
10 for the front pull, 10 for guilt.
I touched him on the way back in.
Oh,
I'm
man.
so used to, my fingers went out like this, and I touched him.
I
didn't pull him, but I
appreciate the
touched him.
discipline, man. I appreciate the discipline.
Hey, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Love a disciplined preloader. Say it all the time. He did him in front of the motorcycle, in front of the Harley Davidson dealership. So big ups to him. You guys know I love a disciplined preloader. And like he said, he did 20 because as we're pulling into the dealership, he grabbed the front brake again. So he clearly has to practice more, right? Clearly has to practice more. All right, let's talk about these motorcycle drop guards. All right, so you guys have been mentioning motorcycle drop guards to me for the longest, and I've had them for the longest, but I was waiting for my saddlebag guards so that I can put them all on at the same time. I don't want to do half and then, you know what I mean? So anyway, I finally got them, and I want to talk to you about these things, guys. First of all, you hear this? This is not cheap stuff. This is the real deal Holyfield, right? Nicely made. They look nice. When I put these on the motorcycle, you guys are going to see. You know, if I don't tell you they're there, you probably wouldn't even notice them, all right? Of course, they come in chrome as well if you have chrome engine guards and such. But of course, on the practice bike, it's black. And on the inside of these, this is like a rubber coating. So that's going to help two things. One, it's going to ensure that you're not scraping up your engine guards when you take these off. And also, it's going to help them stay in place better. Of course, you have bolts to do that too, but having a little bit of rubber in there is always going to be good instead of it just being metal against metal. So this one is for the front engine guard, right? This one is going to go on your saddlebag guard, right? This is nice stuff. And then lastly, this one. This is for your primary, okay? We're going to go over all of that. I'm going to get these on the motorcycle. We're going to see what they look like. We're going to check it out. Okay, guys, so 2 for 1 here. The next question is, how do we pick this up? Like, what's the best way to pick this up? So, now if your motorcycle is equipped like this motorcycle, where you have saddlebag guards, the saddlebag guards are going to make this so much easier because you have something to grab onto. Now, let's just keep in mind that the strongest muscle in your body is in your legs. So we're going to be using our legs for this. So what we're going to do is, you want to get nice and low. So I see some people, they have their ass on the seat, on the top part of the seat where you sit on. No, you don't want to do that. You want to go low, right? And I also see some people do this and their feet are like this. They're on the balls of their feet. As soon as I do that, I'm not even doing anything yet, and I already feel the pressure on my knees. We don't want to do that. So first things first, nice and low. Now, also keep in mind, guys, this is going to be easier for me now on my driveway because there's no gravel, there's no sand, there's no dirt, so I have traction. Clearly, if you don't have traction, this is not going to work, and you're going to need some assistance to get this thing upright. So, right hand, handlebar. Again, this is if the motorcycle is leaning on the left side. If it's leaning on the right side, just do the opposite. The left hand's going to be on the handlebars, right? Handlebar. Pull the handlebar towards you. This hand, saddlebag guard. If you don't have a saddlebag guard, whatever you can find to put your hands on is really just for stabilization because your legs are doing all of the lifting. Saddlebag guard. Then, with your ass nice and low, just push back. Now, if you're on the right side of the motorcycle, you'd put the kickstand down first. And that way, you can just push the motorcycle all the way over onto the kickstand. But if you're by yourself, you push the motorcycle up. Now, you want to do the kickstand. What I like to do is, I don't want to keep the handlebars turned because it's making the motorcycle want to move that way more. So I'm going to straighten the handlebars out. Now it's easier for me to stand up, put the kickstand down, put the motorcycle down. All right, guys? All right, guys, so here's what you're going to need to make this happen. So first and foremost, the part that goes on your engine guard, that's this. That's what everything put together. And this is with it taking apart. So this is the part that goes on the guard, on the engine guard. We're going to talk about that. This is a rubber piece, and that's a metal piece. It comes with 4 nuts, 4 washers, and to put that on, all you're going to need is a 5/8" wrench. Now we have the one that goes on your saddlebag guard. Okay, and to put this on, this and the same thing, this has 2 nuts and 2 screws and 2 washers. That's what's on this. And for that, you're going to need a 1/2" wrench, and a 3/16" Allen wrench. And for the primary cover has the primary cover, 2 screws, 4 washers, And you're going to need the same thing, the 3/16 inch Allen wrench. So I've already gone ahead and installed the first one on the saddlebag guard. And the reason I want to focus on this one right now, guys, is I want you to look where this is and how it's installed. So it's important to also know that these guards are repairable, and they're going to be easier to repair if they're installed like this. So it's important to note that, see how the screws are? They're facing the outside of the motorcycle. That's the way this is supposed to be, and you want it to be kind of high up on the engine guard. So when the motorcycle leans over, all of this will be covered, right? There's only really one main point of contact, but you want to make sure everything is covered. And it's going to make it easier to repair these if the point of contact is higher up on it. All right, so important to know that. I'll give you a look from the back so you can see. We'll go above, and we'll look at it from this angle as well. Now, I also want to point out that when you put this one on, the engine guard, like you'll notice that when you put this on, it's like a flush fit, you see? Like it goes right on. And that's not really the case with this one. When you initially put it on, it's not going to go right on. However, when you tighten the bolt, remember you're going to have to hold one side, tighten the other. When you tighten it, it's going to bring it down and make it nice and snug. Now, remember I told you guys that Kevin dropped the motorcycle today, and I also dropped it. So you see that scuff right there? That's what this is going to cover. And today I priced how much the engine guards are for this Road King. And I think they're about 220 bucks. And of course, if you don't want to put them on yourself, you have to pay labor, but they're not difficult to put on. It's 4 screws. And the saddlebag guards are also about 200 and something bucks. So you're close to $500 for those two things. These motorcycle drop guards are about 300 bucks, and that's protecting both and your primary. So I didn't talk to you about how much it is to get a new primary cover. I don't know how much that is, but the point is, I think I just made the point, right? As far as I'm concerned, I just made the point. And you have to look at it this way too. None of these motorcycles are cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean they're not inexpensive. So if you're going to make an investment of that amount of money, stands to reason that you should also invest your money in things to protect it. All right, that's all I'll say about that. All right, so guys, as I stated before, you see the scuff mark right here. See that? That's perfect. Right over it. And the next thing is the rubber piece. And the metal piece. And the rubber piece is going to protect your engine guard from damage. Washers. And then, of course, the nuts. Do the outside corners first, and then we can tighten this down and it'll be even. We'll take our wrench. I'm not going to tighten it all the way. And I want to tighten one corner and then the opposite corner. You guys know how I'm always saying, work smarter, not harder? Damn that other wrench. So much easier. Again, 5/8 inch. All right, guys, so the front one is installed. And I said it before, guys, I'm going to say it again. If I didn't tell you that this was on here, you wouldn't even notice it. Like it blends right in. Looks really good. So we got that one on the front. We got the one on the back. All right, now let's get to that primary cover. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, my knowledge in doing anything with these motorcycles is minimal, okay? But I can look at some things and kind of put two and two together. So for the primary cover, you'll see that we have two screws right here. That's directly under the primary cover. Here's the primary cover, two screws, and it's going to go right there. Right, and that's going to protect the primary if the motorcycle falls. So, of course, we have to remove these two screws. And remember, it comes with these two screws, two of these. So my guess is, I don't know if there's a difference in the screws. In other words, what I'm saying is, I don't know if it's just for the looks of it so that it matches the primary cover, or if the screws are different. So let's get these screws out and compare them and see if they're the same screw or not. All right, so I popped that screw out. Clearly, it's not the same screw. And of course, it's not the same screw rod because it has to be a longer screw since it's going through that primary cover. So that's the difference in the length of the screws, right? All right, so let's get the other one out. Let me get some blue Loctite, put it on the screw and get it in there. All right, blue Loctite's on the screws. Let's get that lined up. That's it, guys. Done. All right, so guys, I just took it back out because I forgot about the washers. And remember, it came with 4 washers. So I'm not sure if there's 2 extra washers. I know that the screws that I took off only had 1 washer. And that's the little washer right there. So what I did was I put 1 on each side of the screw. I'm assuming that's the way that goes. Oh, that's the way I'm going to leave it. I'm sure it's fine. That's not going anywhere. All right, guys, so all done, installed, and like I said, somebody that's not really paying attention, it's not like this is something that's really going to stand out on your motorcycle, but I can tell you right now, I'm going to feel a lot more confident when I'm out there practicing that I'm not going to cause, any damage to my engine guard, to my primary cover right there, and to my saddlebag guard. This is what believe it or not, this is what I'm more concerned with, the primary cover versus the guards. All right, guys, so one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. Take a look at this. So clearly, guys, this one, right over my head. I just did not notice this, right? Now, if you look at my limited CVO right here, see the axle nut covers, all right? And if you look at my Street Glide CVO, axle guard covers. So I just happened to look at my Road King Special, and I'm like, what is that? So now I see, clearly, if you want axle nut covers to come with the motorcycle, you have to buy a CVO. Anyway, I bought some axle nut covers from Amazon. I think they were about $12. Let me throw those on quickly. All right, guys, I'm going to put a link for these in the description section. Comes with a little Allen wrench. All right, it's got little screws in there. And you know, these two things right here, that's where the Allen wrenches are. So when you put this on the motorcycle, you want to make sure that they're facing down so that you don't see them. And you can see that they're protruding right here. So you're going to have to take the Allen wrench and back those out. Put this on the the axle nut, and then tighten them down. And that's all you have to do. And there's two more in here. So I'm going to assume those are either extra or they're for the other one that's in there. So let me back these out. $12, guys. So I'm saying to you, now that you guys know this, if you have this situation going on your motorcycle, whether it's black or it's chrome, you can rectify it for $12. Okay, so now those are backed all the way out, so now you can see right in there. So again, we want to take the bottom, make sure the bottom is facing down, slide those on, and now we're going to tighten it back against it. And guys, the ones that come on the Harley Davidson, it's pretty much the same thing. All right, so I don't think that this is something that's, if it's $12, maybe it's cheap. Harley's, they're doing something different. No. And that's it, guys. Doesn't that look better? All right, there's the pretty side. Oh, there's the ugly side. Pretty. Ugly. Pretty. Let's look at them both at the same time. Oh, so much better, right, guys? $12. All right, guys, so I said this before and I'm going to say it again. I'm always trying to find ways to convince you to go out there and practice. And I want to eliminate the excuses on why people say they don't want to practice. So that's why the last video that I made concerning these saddlebag guards, I said, you know what, if you want to protect your saddlebags, put those on. Most motorcycles, you know, Road King, Road Glide, Street Glide, Indians, they come with an engine guard already, all right? So you don't have to worry about that part. But if they don't, some motorcycles that don't come with engine guards or saddlebag guards, it's an option to install it. And then you have people that say, hey, I don't like the way that looks. All right, listen, you know, at the end of the day, we're all going to do what we want to do. But it's so important that you practice for reasons that I've gone over a million times. I'm not going to go over it again. This is just another layer so that you can not have to worry about something else. So if you don't want scratches on your engine guards or your saddlebag guards, which nobody really wants that, I know that's the case, voila, motorcycle drop guards. I mean, and they're heavy duty, like I said, all right? Now, and the primary is also protected. Again, you drop the motorcycle on the right side, you don't have to worry about that. On the left side, yeah, you have that primary cover. That's protected now. Now, on my CVO, I can't see it from here, and you wouldn't be able to see it either unless you got under it. That primary cover is scratched because I've dropped that motorcycle multiple times, all right? The engine guard, the saddlebag guards, those are scratched as well. Again, you won't be able to see it because it's on the underside of it. But the point is, once those things start getting scratched, then they can start rusting. So this is definitely a good thing to have on your motorcycle, all right, for all of those reasons I've just explained. And on top of that, these are repairable, okay? So if you want any information about that, you can check the website. I'm also going to put the website in the description section for these. And I'm going to keep talking about these guys. I'm going to keep talking about them. I know this is not the last time you're going to hear me talking about them. I've actually spoken about them before. I just haven't made a video on them because I was waiting for these guards. But I know these are always relevant. They just always are. If you never have to use them, great. But if you do, and like I say, the odds are we're balancing the motorcycle on two wheels. So if it does drop, at least you know you're protected. All right? All right, guys, enough said about that. Definitely recommend these. Put them on your motorcycle. All right. Again, they dress it up. They protect it. Nothing but good stuff to say about it. All right, guys. Spend more time being thankful for the things that you have and less time complaining about the things that you don't. I want to thank you guys for spending this time with me. I know there's anything that you could be doing with your time. And the fact that you choose to spend a little bit of it with me, I appreciate that. Shout out to my brothers and sisters in blue. Please be careful out there, guys. Know you're appreciated. Special shout out to the NYPD Highway Patrol, particularly Highway 1, because that's where I worked. And the motorcycle school in the highway district, because that's who taught me how to ride these motorcycles the way I ride them. But as I always say, guys, it does not end there. You have to keep practicing. It's a perishable skill. So practice, 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 preload and keep it loaded, and practice, practice, practice. Because practice breeds confidence, guys. And a confident rider is not only a safer rider, but it's also a rider that's going to enjoy riding one of these motorcycles that much more. Until next time, guys.